Today is November 24th, 2022. Well, I've had a little bit of a busy day. I went for blood work first thing this morning, and we're doing some genetic testing as to see what lurks in my genes that will give us an answer as to why this cancer came about, and whether we'll find the answers or not, we don't know. We don't know until we test, and so the results will take about 2 months. And so she says if it doesn't show anything, well, then that's fine. It's not like, but if it does show something that could possibly be lurking in the family at large, then she would probably not suggest, but it would allow genetic testing to be done for whoever in the family wanted to be tested. It's totally voluntary. You can't force anybody to do these things. And so, number one, I actually need 2 people from within the family here that to allow me to submit their names, so that if something comes up for whatever reason and they cite, somebody dies or, is incapacitated or something, that somebody will be able to get the results. And it's also for down the road. There'll be 2 people that they will have on file to that they can reach out to if all of a sudden they're seeing other people that we're connected to showing some indication. And so you can text me. I would prefer to either a niece or nephew. I mean, I don't really care, because this is kind of not just for now. This is down the road. And so you all have my number. You can text me, but it goes on my consent form, and your names go on that consent form. That information can be released to you. Can't be released just to anybody who inquires. These 2 people would be the only ones that would have access to the DNA results and whatever that produces. And so, like I say, give me a text and give me the consent that I can add you to my consent form. I need to get these faxed over to the genetics department at some point in time. It's no big urgent, because they don't, like I said, it takes 2 months for the results to come back. So that's done. Another thing that's checked off that we can. And she said, I don't know, the angels must be smiling on me, but she said it was probably my age as to why they were seeing me this early. Like, they have a 5-year waiting period for people to be seen by genetics. 5 years. And it took like a month or month and a half. So, but she said, she was kind of shocked. Like, I'm not really sure why you got chosen. And she said, well, probably your age. So anybody over 70, because these results can take a while. And, sometimes it's just too late. You don't get the blood collected in time. And so I'm assuming that's the reason why. So my age was a factor there. So, but anyway, the home care came and took out the drain. So one less thing to have to think about, and hopefully it will not ooze from the site. And she was hoping that it wouldn't, and so there again, time will tell. So overall, I'm doing okay. There's still some pain, and there's still, a little bit of my sternum hurts, and my ribs, or the muscles behind, hurt the ribs, and so it's just what it is. I'm not really that concerned about it. And other than that, there's nothing really staggering or very interest noteworthy to report other than those 2 pieces, and so we'll see what happens tomorrow. So I will probably play a little bit of what, because I recorded it on the videotape or my video camera here, what she told me, and so I'm probably going to play a little bit just to kind of give you an idea. I won't play all of it because it was an hour long. And so there we stand. So keep your puck on the ice. What does that mean? It just means we're still in the game. Okay?
Well, and I can tell you that just like within our genetics clinic, we do see a lot of people of Mennonite background for cancer risk.
Okay.
Some families will have a specific genetic change, but overall we see a lot of cancers in Mennonite individuals, and we haven't, done any formal studies on it or anything like that, but, right now we're kind of working under the assumption that there are multiple small genetic risk factors in the Mennonite population that are likely increasing cancer risk.
Okay.
And we just don't have the ability to identify them at the moment. But our technology and our knowledge of cancer genetics is increasing a lot, and so probably in the next few years we'll be able to do some better testing for those multiple genetic risk factors.
Okay.
So, but right now we test for specific genes that have a very strongly increased risk of cancer.
Okay.
That we have very good data on and can provide like screening guidelines and options for family and that kind of thing.
So okay, I was just kind of trying to find out. Okay, the breast cancer gene, as such, can be passed on from both a maternal and paternal side?
Yeah, and so I'll give you some background on how the genetics work, so that might help explain it too. So you know what genes are. They're just the instructions that tell our bodies how we grow and develop, and so we have genes that control everything about us. But with hereditary cancer, we're actually looking at the genes that help protect us from developing cancer. So the ones that prevent cancers from developing or get rid of cancers when they do develop, because cancer is essentially cells in your body that grow out of control. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at these genes, all genes, we get 2 copies. One copy that comes from our mom and one that comes from our dad.
Okay.
And for these hereditary cancer genes or these tumor-related genes, if you have just one of those copies that's not working the way that it should, that increases your risk of cancer. And so as a result, it could come from your mom's side or your dad's side, because you get one copy from one and one copy from the other. And so it doesn't matter where you get the not working copy from.
Right.
If you have a not working copy, you have that increased risk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people do get focused on the fact that it's maybe a breast cancer risk, but that's just because the men who carry the not working copy of the gene have a very low risk of developing breast cancer. And you don't necessarily see it on the dad's side as evidently, or at least not in that generation.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of the breast cancer genes actually also increase the risk of prostate cancer for men.
Oh, okay.
But because, again, prostate cancer is so common, people haven't made the link for a long time. And
okay.
So, quite often we talk to the men in the family who carry the mutated or not working gene about prostate cancer screening. So, if we did find something genetic for you, then that would mean that there's a 50% chance that your siblings would have it. And so we could offer testing to them.
Oh, okay.
If we did identify something for you, and then we would offer to your nieces and nephews as well.
Okay.
So, well, so it can really, the genetic testing can be quite powerful in the sense that if we find out that for sure there's something that's increasing the risk of cancer, we can do the testing to those who want it, and then recommend better screening options for them.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. like for example, if it was BRCA1 or 2, which I don't think is likely in your situation, but that's kind of the ones that people worry a lot about.
Okay.
The risk of breast cancer is quite high. It's about 60 or 70%.
Okay,
in a woman's lifetime, and so we start the screening at age 25 to 30.
Okay.
And it's actually with a mammogram as well as a breast MRI.
Okay.
So that's not available to the general population, but for women who carry a gene that increases their risk of breast cancer, they get the higher level screening and starting at a young age.
Okay.
Test to find out if they have that genetic change. So it gives us a lot of answers and options. The other possibility, which is the greatest possibility in your case, is that we don't find anything at all.
Okay.
And in that case, you know, I'm not overly worried, at least for yourself. For your other family members, it's hard to say. I would still lean towards, you know, your nieces in particular, maybe talking to their doctors about their family history, potentially starting their breast cancer screening a little younger than they normally would.
Good. Okay.
They're probably getting to be around that age.
Yes, they are. Very much so. And the thing...
Like 40 wouldn't be unreasonable in this family.
Yeah.
So the other